Hello, welcome to Gaming Again. My name is Muzz, and welcome to me talking about my worst dating experience that I have had. Now, let's get this out of the way. I have not had a dramatic, absolutely horrendous date. Like this date didn't go well, and I'll dive into potentially why that is, but and how I handled it. But it was not it was not a disaster. It was not a car crash of a date. It was one that just didn't go well. So if you're if you're here for that, then I'm afraid this is not the video you're looking for. If you want to hear about probably a standard bad date that I went on and how I handled it, then that is what you're gonna get. So just I don't want kind of any anybody to come in with those expectations. So it was a few months ago, and it kind of already my day had already kind of got off. When I say my day, we met kind of early evening, but before that, I had to go and get a photo taken for my ID, and it was a nightmare because I had missed the bus. I had to run. I had to run like 2 kilometers to be there on time. So already I was a bit flustered, and then didn't really have much of a plan for the day. I think we said we get food, and then we would go for a walk, which is kind of how I like it. I kind of like being a bit open and doing whatever the kind of person wants to do or open to suggestions. And I think that's maybe where this date went a bit wrong, which I will get into. So we meet up, and straight away I noticed that she's nervous. And like, who hasn't been nervous when you're meeting someone for the first time? So I'm just asking her, all the basic questions like job, all that, just to try and build some rapport, get some conversation going. And I'm not getting a lot back. I'm getting maybe 1 or 2 word answers, and I need to like keep keep probing to try and get more rather than her just like kind of going off and talking. So that's the first thing that comes apparent. And in this situation, you just kind of got to, I guess, stay calm and just try and get you hope that you'll maybe find something that she opens up to. So just kept talking to her. We went a little walk around the area, and we were talking about food. And this is where it was again a bit awkward because I was like, "Oh, what do you like to eat?" And just anything is what I kept getting, and I'm like, "Okay, will we go here?" And she wasn't too sure, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "You're saying anything, but you're being quite picky." So it was like I was obviously being nice and being respectful, but at the same time, I was like, you need to give me something a little bit more. So I ended up we did find a place. We found a place, and it was actually quite nice food. It was, I think, a Mexican place. And again, the conversation, there's awkwardness. Like we do, it does start. It does start to kind of get a bit better, but I think at this point I had already made my decision in my head that like, yeah, this probably isn't going to go. Like the spark wasn't there, and when you realise that, you can check out of a date, which I think is not the way to handle it. Like it's quite disrespectful. Like this person has travelled. Like you're trying to make the best, I think, out of a bad situation, and that's what I kept trying to do. Kept trying to ask questions, try to build the conversation, and it did get a bit better, but it was still a bit like pulling teeth for to get answers, to get a conversation going. And I was asking like all my weird and wonderful questions that I've got kind of locked away for situations like this, um, but just wasn't really getting much of a response. It was just general chit chat, and we'd had the food. The food was good. We kind of agreed that to split the bill, which is what I talked about. Definitely split the bill. Guys in this don't feel the pressure to pay for it all. And we decided I was like, I could end it now, but let's go a walk and see if we can, salvage something. And we went a short walk because yeah, it was clear to me that this just wasn't going to get any better, and it was a shame because she was nice. You could tell she was just nervous, but there was no spark there. There was no real, I think, desire from me at this point to continue it in terms of romantically. It was just friendship at this point, but kept trying. Yeah, it just didn't work. Ended where I was like, oh, I was like, just honest. I was like, look, we'll end it soon because I think this just isn't working, and I think we both agreed that it just wasn't working, and that's the way to be. I think one of those ones that didn't work. It was awkward. It was challenging to get a conversation going, like a meaningful one. It wasn't like we were laughing and joking the whole time. It was very much. It felt like an interview. It felt very much like an interview where it was question after question. Response was, yeah, it was. It was difficult. It was difficult, but I was nice the whole time, and I don't check out of a date. Like there's always the person could just be really nervous, and I think that's what she was, and I didn't want her to kind of feel like under pressure or anything to continue the date. So it was just like, right, let's agree that this just hasn't worked out, and we'll be on our merry way. And that's kind of the worst. I feel like my dating life sounds quite boring if that's the worst one I've had, but I'd much rather that than have like an absolutely wild story that I could try and tell you. But yeah, that was my worst dating experience so far, since I've yeah since I've been single, and yeah, just be nice, try and keep asking questions, don't check out of it, just respect them, and the nicest thing to do is just to rip off the band-aid at the end and be like, yep, this didn't work. It's been nice to meet you, but yeah, I think we should, don't say be friends. I think that's like, you don't even know, it's just say it. I just think we should, look elsewhere, I guess is a better way of putting it. But that is, yeah, that's just what I done, and that's what I think is the way to handle that. And we left it, I think, pretty amicably, and I went on my merry way back home. Yeah, that was my worst dating experience. If you have any bad dating experience, let me know. I may do a video where I read out some people's and discuss what they could have done differently or what happened to get into those situations. But yeah, let me know what you think, and yeah, if you've got anything to say about the way I handle it or what you think could have been the issue, then let me know. But with all that being said, all that's left to say is any thoughts, comments, general hostile remarks, leave them below. Thank you very much. Bye bye.